be there on the ground to get things like really moving, because it's Ghana and nothing moves really fast. So you have to have enough time to be there. How have you found it as far as getting businesses started? I know having a Ghanaian husband makes it probably 10 times easier, but how have you found the process of starting a business and getting things done? How has that been working for you?
It's been good. So we do have several businesses that are registered here, and I mean, it's not the way that because I of course do business registration in the U.S. It's nothing of course like that where you can go online and you can put in the registration, and then in 3 to 4 days you get an email saying it's confirmed, it's registered, and you can see it online.
Right.
Nothing like. Of course, it was very different. You know, we went down to the office, we made contact with some people we knew, and then it took some time. And then, of course, you have to know somebody to know somebody.
Yeah.
But eventually it got registered, and it happened. And that's what I try to tell people, that it's doable, but it's just going to be different from what you
Different.
know. It might agitate you that it's like that, but Africa and Ghana specifically too is about relationships, and it's about people that you know. So it's gonna be different in that manner. But other than that, it's been fine. And then of course we also recently started working on doing a bakery, and so we're in the process of building some things out. And there was a carpenter that was supposed to come, and then he got paid.
I know.
You pay them, and then they're like, "Ooh, okay, I'm gonna enjoy." And then you don't hear from them until until you have to keep calling them. So sometimes it's like that. But
Yeah.
that is the culture. I think someone was like, "Well, you just have to know that whenever they get that big payday, to them that means that they can have some time off, and you may not hear from them for about a week, but after they enjoy, they will come back ready to work and get back on the project, which can slow people down when they have deadlines and all of that."
Right.
But we're pushing through.
One thing I just decided, I stopped with the deadlines thing. I tell people, look, we can't do deadlines.
You stress yourself out, right?
Exactly, because I have literally at times felt like I was just gonna have a myocardial infarction. Like, what in the entire are we doing? Because it can be very frustrating. So you have to find some zen and not be pressed for time and deadlines and all of that. Like, I think someone recently asked me about a deadline, and I'm like, I don't do deadlines, because I've just over the years I've just gotten to a place where it's less stressful to do deadlines. Now, definitely, you want to have a goal, so that you can get things done. And you do sometimes you gotta press people. But you have, like, I learned to just know in my head that, okay, it's not gonna get done in a week, so give yourself 2 weeks. And it's just good. It's good for maneuvering. So with your businesses, can you tell me, like, is it something that you can discuss? Like, what businesses have you found that you feel that made you feel like, this is something I should get into?
So we actually discuss business opportunities all the time, and we try to encourage people just from different things that we think would be really good to start in Ghana. Of course, we can't start them all, but we do help people start them. So I think that also is our contribution. So somebody comes and they want to do something, and they want to partner, or they want help registering, we do, of course, help with that. But I think some key areas that are, or key things that are really good, have to do with, and people don't like to hear it, but agriculture.
Absolutely.
So, like
Absolutely.
my husband says,
That's my
there is
industry.
money in dirt. There's money in dirt. And so agriculture, if you want to start farming crops, that is a way. That's a good business. And then also animal farming. We're about to get into some chicken farming.
Yeah.
And you know, aside from the farming piece or agriculture piece, you also want to take a look at tourism, because I feel like that is a big area where there's so much room for Ghana to grow and expand. Ghana is not like the East African countries where it's saturated with people from the outside controlling the tourism market. Now is a time where Black people, Ghanaians, and people from the diaspora can come together, and we can be the ones that determine what happens in tourism. And so that means putting up rest stops along all of the major tourist sites. You go to some of the tourist sites and you'll see that maybe there might not be a place for people to stay that is up to the standard that they want, or there may not be a food spot near the major tourist site, and they're usually far away. And so, and then also on the way to Cape Coast, maybe that it would be nice to put a like somehow we know some of the rest stops in the States. It'd be nice to put several of those along the way. So many different opportunities that you can think of in transportation, in lodging, in just businesses, if people decide to come to some of these tourist sites. So I think that is another huge opportunity for business, both in tourism and agriculture.
Wow. You know, that is so true. Agriculture is my industry. And one of the main things that we're always talking about is getting more of the diaspora into agriculture. Most people don't even know that in some West African countries, 80% of the food is being imported. And most of them is like 70-75% of the food is being imported. And just the idea of disrupting the import industry that's like exciting for me. That's why I got into agriculture, because I'm like, for one, when you bringing in food from the outside, it's not beneficial for the business, because they only have maybe 3 or 4 days before the food is spoiling. So if we can create more urban farms and different kind of farm, it's so much you can do in agriculture. It's so much you can do, like you said, in tourism. And I think that as we continue to do this, and this is why I like to have these conversations, is maybe just having this conversation will spark somebody's interest. Maybe somebody will hear you say rest stop and think, well, dang, I never thought about that. We do.
I'm hoping you will.
Yeah, because we do. We need them so bad. Like when you're going to like Kumasi or wherever, there's not really any rest stops. I don't think I've ever seen one. Yes, I have. I'm lying. I've seen them. They're not identifiable to me. Like it's not like what we're used to here, and looking for a rest stop. You know, you can identify what the rest stop is. It's literally it says rest stop. So that's a really good idea. We definitely have room for improvement in all areas. It's still a developing nation, and it's just so much that we could get into. How do you feel about now that I know you've been researching businesses and all that stuff? There's a lot of times people say you should just come to Africa and specifically Ghana, start a business and They make it seem like you can just do that and live your life. Everything's gonna be great. That's it. What would you say to somebody who said that?
So I'll say that they have to be prepared for they have to be prepared for a lot. But it is doable. It is doable. I always say it's doable.
It's definitely doable.
It'll be worth it, but it won't be the easy process that they're looking for. They have to throw all expectations of maybe what they think out of the window, and that's and when we help people, we tell them, okay, so here is it. Of course, the process for registration will be different, and then you also have the guidelines for GEPA, which most people, that deters a lot of people. But then you also hear people say, well, you also on the other end know that there are people who have started businesses in Ghana who have not gone through that route, and that there is the option of partnering with somebody local.
Right.
You have to be open and willing to that alternative setup by having a partner who would be running the business and not necessarily going through the GEPA channel. And so, it's possible, and there are people who are doing it and have done it. So yes.
For those who don't know, can you explain the GEPA to them?
Yes. So Ghana, is it Ghana? Actually, I'm saying it wrong. It's GIPC. So Ghana Investment and Promotion Center, and then there's also Ghana Export and Export Authority. So those two authorities are which controls the businesses that come into Ghana, and it is how you would register your business and pay taxes and all of that. So that is how, for foreign businesses, that's how it usually works for foreign businesses. Now, you do have some people who come and they partner with local Ghanaians to register their business and run their businesses. It's not illegal, but it is another channel that people operate under, and it's not going through those two channels.
Right. And that is a way to get started, and many of us have to start that way. It just is what it is. I think people have to get to Ghana and weigh their options. Learning and observing how things work in Ghana, I think, is really important, because you're literally going into a different world. It's a totally different world from what we're used to. So how did you you seem like a really calm and cool, collected type of person. So I imagine that it hasn't been as difficult for you. You don't seem like somebody like me who just will blow a gasket seconds. I have pretty short fuse. You seem like you can just kind of, yeah, okay. So how is that, like, going through these different processes? How have you managed to do it without, like, just saying forget it? Just saying forget it, because I know a lot of people who get involved and they're just like, nope, forget, I'm not doing it. So how have you been able to not throw your hands up and run away?
You talking about with Ghana in general, or business?
Yeah, Ghana, both.
Yeah, so I would say that I have to keep reminding myself that that I am in a different culture. I am in a different place, and things are done differently. And sometimes, I'm gonna keep it real, sometimes there's some things that are done where I'm just like annoyed. Yeah. I am thoroughly just annoyed. But then, of course, like I said, it helps that I do have a husband who is Ghanaian, and I'll ask him, I'll be like, is it me? Am I just tripping? Or was like the way that particular person spoke to me, was that rude? Like, was I wrong for thinking the way that I thought? And then offer his perspective and be like, well, I mean, it could be kind of confusing what you were trying to say. I'm like, well, I mean, in the same token, it's like I feel like they got what I was trying to say. They just felt like it had to be done this way, no way, or it was their way or no way.
Right.
And you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
In particular about certain things. It's like, you know, if it's not done this way or said this way, then they won't entertain it.
Yeah. And a lot of times you hear people say, well, this is Ghana. This is how we do things in Ghana.
Yeah.
But if it's a little easier way to do it, why can't we do it the easier way?
Yep. And so sometimes I just have to just
fall back.
Do a woosah and fall back. Yeah, I had to fall back several nights ago where I felt myself getting upset at the person who was taking my order, because it's like I'm explaining it this way. Why can't you just get it the way that I'm explaining it? But they didn't get what I was saying, and so I said, okay, yes, this is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's how it is. So yes, I've had those moments, and I just try to take a step back in that moment and realize that it could just be a misinterpretation of the cultures and communication and communicating.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes there is that missing piece.
Yeah.
So
for more on this video, please click the link in the description below. Thank you.